this? You've got 3 people standing in front of Charlie recording him, and this is only from his left side. Not to mention the thousands attending the event, which you know many were also recording. And not only is there one very expensive camera behind Charlie, but there are 2 very expensive cameras behind Charlie. Okay, so see this man in the blue shirt who is obviously part of Charlie's security crew. He stands around aimlessly throughout this whole video and does a couple of very subtle but suspicious things, as you'll see momentarily.
Really appreciate it. Are you asking a question? We're gonna be here for a couple hours.
Okay, did you catch that? I'll show you in slow motion. The security guy in the blue and Charlie's bodyguard in the tent looked at their watch simultaneously, which my guess would be they received some kind of alert that I'm guessing Charlie's entire security crew got. So what kind of alert would they get? Could it be some type of signal? I've seen the videos people have posted of others, including the bodyguard in the tent, giving what looked to be hand signals seconds before the shooting. But I have not seen this footage here, so I was hoping someone may have an idea what kind of alert that this could have been. Because if we can get an answer to that, then that could possibly help us get an answer to something else, and so on and so forth. Okay, so remember this guy in the gray t-shirt with the folded arms here, because right after the shooting, he does probably the shadiest thing out of everyone involved, which really makes this entire thing look fake. You'll see in a minute, just bear with me. And again, look at this huge expensive camera filming right in front of Charlie, but all the footage we see is grainy and blurry. And again, another huge camera right behind him.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more historically accurate than Protestantism. Well, you're more aggressive than I would be. First of all, I love Mormons. I've said that forever.
So did you catch that? The security guy just walked past the bodyguard and subtly passed some kind of signal, in which the bodyguard responded by giving out some type of signal, I'm guessing to someone else. Here, check it out.
So I love Mormons. I've said that forever. Afford.
And what do we have here? Another expensive camera that evidently can't produce over 4 megapixels.
I think it's time for Mormons. You gotta get your mojo back. No more of this LGBT stuff.
So the bodyguard is looking at his watch again, and then you'll see he's going to glance up and look over to his left, and then checks his watch a second time. What is he doing? Why did he have to look at his watch 2 separate times in 4 seconds? Let's watch it back in slow motion.
Charlie Kirk's team wasn't inexperienced. They were veterans of countless events, trained, briefed, and equipped to anticipate every possible threat, not even from the so-called killer Tyler Robinson. 3 layers of protection surrounded him that day. The inner circle, personal security within arm's reach. The secondary layer, stationed along the exits and crowd lines. And the outer ring, responsible for surveillance, radio coordination, and campus liaison. On paper, it looked airtight, a network designed to respond before danger could even draw near. But the footage tells another story. Guards assigned to the eastern corridor left their posts 11 minutes before the first alert. One officer stood by a doorway, glancing repeatedly at his phone instead of his feed. Another appears to remove his earpiece. Not accidentally, but with a deliberate pull. Please, before we move on, don't forget to drop your comment as you listening to this new updates. We would definitely respond to all comment. We will be glad to hear your feedbacks on this report and contributions. We stand for justice. We stand for Charlie. They were supposed to protect him. The men standing closest to Charlie Kirk that day. The ones paid to react, to see danger before anyone else did. But when the gun went off, something strange happened. They didn't move. No rush, no panic, just a moment of stillness, like they already knew what was coming. And when one of them was finally taken in for questioning, he didn't argue. He didn't plead his case. He just lowered his eyes and smiled. That reaction, not fear, not confusion, but calm acceptance, is what turned this from tragedy into suspicion. Because when security freezes, people die. And when they stay silent after, you start to wonder, were they protecting him that day or protecting something else? Charlie Kirk's security, finally caught, but it's their reaction that tells the real story. But we still have a question to answer. Was it Tyler Robinson or not? What do you think? Is the case moving forward carefully, or is progress being slowed by procedural delays? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's where we hear your thoughts and where you watching from. To stay updated on every development, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you stay informed as new updates become available. This is Detective Max, and together we stand and fight for justice. For weeks, the footage was missing, the angle was off, and the people responsible for protecting Charlie Kirk said they saw nothing. But now one of his own security officers has been caught, not for speaking out, but for what he tried to hide. This reaction isn't just defensive, it's calculated. After the silent arrest, fragments began to surface. Security cam footage quietly recovered by the FBI, private messages leaking into encrypted channels, and statements once confident, suddenly rewritten. Every time a new truth emerges, another door quietly closes. It's as if the people closest to the chaos were the first to know exactly what not to see. The ones paid to watch were the ones looking away. And maybe that's why this single capture, this one officer taken in, doesn't bring relief. It brings questions. Questions about loyalty, about silence, and about what a man's face looks like when he's been holding onto a secret too long. Because sometimes it's not the crime that exposes the truth. It's the reaction after. Don't forget, this was an hidden arrest, but by access we got to know this. September 10th, Utah Valley University, 10:43 in the morning. Charlie Kirk steps off stage. Applause, noise, confusion. 2 minutes later, the first shot. The layout was standard for a high-profile event. 4 security members positioned along the perimeter of the stage, 2 covering the exits, 1 at the stairwell, and 1 man, the one now under investigation, assigned to the left flank. His responsibility was to keep eyes on the crowd, monitor stage access, and communicate any irregular movement to command. But that morning, the communication line went silent. No radio call, no warning, no reaction until it was already too late. The internal report shows that the signal to move the team came not from the lead coordinator, but from a secondary channel, one that wasn't logged in the official security transcript. That channel was wiped within an hour of the shooting. 2 cameras that should have covered the left side of the stage were offline, one listed as under maintenance, the other showing only static. Both failures happened within minutes of each other, and both linked back to the same security console under his control. And yet, in a room full of guards trained to react within seconds, one man froze for 42 seconds. No movement, no defensive shift, just stillness, watching, waiting. That's not panic, that's hesitation, and hesitation in a job like that is never random. His name hasn't been officially released, but insiders call him Redline, a nickname from his military days. A man who never spoke out of turn until the morning Charlie Kirk died. Redline was positioned at the left flank of the stage, close enough to see movement before anyone else could. His duty was to monitor the crowd, track entry points, and maintain open communication with command. But when it mattered most, that line went dead. Records show this wasn't his first lapse. He had prior disciplinary notes on file, minor protocol delays, brief failures to report signal disruptions during smaller events. Nothing severe enough to warrant suspension, but enough to raise questions about consistency. Now those minor delays look like warnings no one took seriously. He's currently under questioning for procedural breach and evidence withholding. Officials claim he failed to submit footage from his assigned body cam. When asked why, his response was short: battery failure. It's the same excuse given by 2 other team members that morning. 3 cameras, all drained at once, all connected to the same security system. Coincidence? Maybe, but the FBI doesn't believe in coincidences anymore. Then came the leak. An audio file. A voice, low and tired, repeating the same line: "I was told to stand down," over and over, almost like a confession, but quieter, like someone afraid to be heard. The file appeared on a private Discord server late at night. The account that uploaded it was anonymous, created just hours before the post went live. Within minutes, the clip spread across smaller message boards, encrypted forums, and eventually social media. Listeners argued over what they were hearing. Some swore it was Redline's voice. Others called it an imitation. Major outlets moved fast to dismiss it, labeling the clip AI-generated misinformation. They cited the tone distortions, the background hum, the uneven pacing, but the dismissal came too quickly, before any lab had even verified the file. And when reporters pressed investigators for comment, the answer was silence. No confirmation, no denial, just a statement that the audio was under review. That silence did more damage than the clip itself, because if it were fake, the Bureau could have said so immediately. And instead they said nothing, and in that silence, the public started to listen harder. That's when suspicion stopped being a theory, and became a pattern. Security firms operate in layers: handlers, contracts, subcontracts, and the deeper you go, the murkier it gets. Paper trails blur, names disappear, and accountability gets lost somewhere between a handshake and a signature. The firm overseeing Kirk's team that morning was WestShield Tactical, a private security outfit based in Arizona. Their client list is split down the middle, half political, half private. High-profile figures, campaign circuits, corporate summits, the kind of company that knows how to stay visible enough to win contracts, and invisible enough to dodge scrutiny. WestShield isn't just another security vendor. Their senior advisor once worked as a consultant for the Department of Homeland Security, an expert in counter-surveillance and event threat neutralization. His name has quietly vanished from the company's current site, but archived pages confirm the connection. When federal agents requested the company's full employee roster, WestShield delayed the handover for 5 days, citing internal verification procedures. By the time the list was delivered, timestamps from the event had already been altered. The radio logs didn't line up with the surveillance footage, and audio records from the command channel were missing entire minutes. Investigators later discovered why. Someone had edited the time logs, and when those edits were traced, they led back to the same guard. If he was innocent, why alter a minute that could prove it? When reporters asked about the discrepancies, the district attorney's office declined to comment. The FBI called it an ongoing matter, and the university quietly removed all backstage footage from their cloud, citing privacy concerns. Not one agency has explained why the internal timestamps don't align, or why critical evidence is now sealed under what they're calling a protective review. Officials promise transparency, yet every statement feels carefully engineered to say nothing at all. Journalists who've tried to follow up describe phone calls that never get returned, emails that suddenly bounce back, and scheduled briefings that vanish from the calendar. Behind the polished podiums and legal phrasing, one thing stands out: the refusal to name who authorized WestShield's involvement that day. And that silence cuts deep. Because if everything was handled properly, if every camera failure and timing error was just an accident, why hide the paper trail? Why lock away footage that could clear innocent people? You start to wonder, was this silence meant to protect justice, or protect a narrative? When the guard was finally taken in, his reaction said everything. No shock, no anger, no denial, just a quiet nod, like a man who'd been waiting for this moment. Reporters outside the precinct described him as calm, detached, almost rehearsed. He didn't look like someone caught off guard. He looked like someone following a plan. His hands were steady, his posture composed. When asked if he had anything to say, he just blinked slowly and said, "You already know." That single line changed everything. Because it wasn't the words, it was the tone. There was no fear in it, no attempt to clear his name. Just certainty, as if he understood he was a piece of something larger. Witnesses recall that faint smile. Not relief, not pride, but recognition, the kind of expression that doesn't appear by accident. To most, it looked like surrender. To investigators, it looked like a signal. Signals only make sense when someone else is watching. And that's what unsettled everyone in the room. It wasn't the arrest itself that raised alarms. It was how prepared he seemed for it. Like he knew it was coming, like it had already been decided. Internal reports reveal a missing radio log. The last 5 transmissions from the inner security channel are gone. They were erased at 10:05 that morning, moments before the shooter fled the scene. Officially, the system was undergoing a maintenance update. Unofficially, the file deletions were manual. Forensic technicians later uncovered fragments of the deleted data on a backup drive mislabeled as maintenance check. Buried inside were short, cryptic exchanges between security staff, phrases like "stage clear," "move window closed," and one note that stood out, "confirm exit route." The file was created hours before the event even began. It wasn't a reaction log, it was a plan. Further review showed the backup contained another folder, titled Crowd Control Contingency. It outlined procedures for managing panic in the event of unexpected discharge. The problem? The plan didn't just describe how to respond. It mapped out the path a potential shooter could take to leave undetected. That path matched the route the gunman used. No one can explain how a pre-event contingency file could mirror a crime that hadn't happened yet. And yet there it was, sitting inside a drive owned by WestShield Tactical. Now the question isn't just who fired the shot, it's who cleared the path. First the shooter, then the silence. Now the man paid to protect Charlie Kirk, caught altering records. Each piece on its own looks like a mistake. Together it starts to look like strategy. Every development follows the same rhythm, an exposure, a denial, and then a disappearance. Evidence leaks, gets discredited, and vanishes. Witnesses speak once, then go quiet. Officials promise answers, then postpone. The cycle repeats until the public forgets what the original question even was. It's no longer about one faulty camera or one unresponsive guard. It's about a pattern of containment. Contain the footage, contain the narrative, contain the truth. The deeper investigators dig, the more uniform the behavior becomes. Identical phrases in statements matching timestamps across falsified reports. The same silence from anyone connected to the security chain. Silence repeating like an instruction. In high-profile assassinations, silence isn't random, it's engineered. And whoever designed it understood exactly how to keep a story buried. One missing file, one absent witness, one calm reaction at a time. Because in this case, the cover-up isn't what happened after the shooting. It might have started long before the first shot was ever fired. First the shooter, then the silence. Now the man paid to protect Charlie Kirk, caught altering records. Each piece on its own looks like a mistake. Together it starts to look like strategy. Every development follows the same rhythm, an exposure, a denial, and then a disappearance. Evidence leaks, gets discredited, and vanishes. Witnesses speak once, then go quiet. Officials promise answers, then postpone. The cycle repeats until the public forgets what the original question even was. It's no longer about one faulty camera or one unresponsive guard. It's about a pattern of containment. Contain the footage, contain the narrative, contain the truth. The deeper investigators dig, the more uniform the behavior becomes. Identical phrases in statements matching timestamps across falsified reports. The same silence from anyone connected to the security chain. Silence repeating like an instruction. In high-profile assassinations, silence isn't random, it's engineered. And whoever designed it understood exactly how to keep a story buried. One missing file, one absent witness, one calm reaction at a time. Because in this case, the cover-up isn't what happened after the shooting. It might have started long before the first shot was ever fired. If the guard's reaction was rehearsed, then his arrest wasn't the end. It was part of a performance. Every gesture, every silence, every delayed report fits too neatly to be coincidence. It feels less like a chain of mistakes, and more like a script. And if he was part of that script, then someone else is still directing the scene. Someone with access to the footage, the files, and the power to decide what the public is allowed to see. Charlie Kirk's assassination has been called many things: a tragedy, an attack, a politically charged act. But beneath all of that, it's beginning to look like something colder. A controlled story, built to end where it began, with confusion and silence. Because when truth becomes a threat, control becomes the mission. And when control replaces justice, the question isn't who pulled the trigger anymore. It's who wrote the ending. The story of Charlie Kirk's death isn't closing, it's just revealing its next layer.